weather. It governs our world, bringing life, death, and destruction.
God damn it, go back.
We're fine.
Oh my God! It's drowning!
Wow. World's deadliest weather is back. Bigger and badder. This time we include deadly natural disasters.
One of the most terrifying moments of my life.
Featuring earth-shattering quakes.
Yo ahí vi pasar toda mi vida. Pero yo pensé que ya no la iba a lograr.
I saw an entire building collapse.
It was like something out of a movie.
And volcanoes.
It looks like all of my wildest dreams.
Using people's extraordinary self-shot footage.
We're gonna die, dude! We gotta get out of here! Mason, get away from the windows now!
And their death-defying stories.
I remember instantly thinking, I just watched her die.
I had to turn on my inner stunt driver and just get out of there quick.
I thought I was gonna burn alive.
We go eyeball to eyeball with Mother Nature.
It's crazy! It's crazy! Come on!
And witness up close
Get on there!
the all-consuming power of the elements.
The mountain was coming to get us.
Flash right there! This place is just hell.
It was just horrific.
I had never in my life experienced anything like that.
Everybody take cover!
Coming up in this episode.
Oh, there's another one right up. Oh, another one going in!
A rare bomb cyclone storm detonates over the U.S. eastern seaboard.
I contemplated the death of my entire family in the Atlantic Ocean.
Britain's highest mountain scares a climber half to death.
I definitely don't want to fall.
I just got slower and slower as it got higher and higher. I was really petrified.
I just feel scared.
And in the French Alps, a race against time to rescue a friend buried alive.
I remember thinking, I don't want to die here.
Most of the United States has a continental climate, with hot summers and cold, harsh winters. But as 2018 dawned, a rare weather phenomenon exploded across the East Coast, and America shivered under the bomb cyclone. Put simply, a sharp, catastrophic plunge in atmospheric pressure created a winter storm packing a massive punch, with winds able to reach hurricane force. On January the 5th, 2018, Aish and Burden family had their Bahamas island hopping cut short as their cruise liner set sail to try and beat the bomb cyclone to New York.
It was nice. It was a bit windy, but still, it was a nice day. And about 2 hours in, the wind started picking up, and the staff started coming towards all the guests and indicating that they're evacuating the island. So we figured, okay, they're really being cautious.
Whoa, that's a lot of wind.
Everything was fine. Everybody got on board safe, and we just set sail.
Oh yeah, look at those waves.
That evening, it started really, the wind started picking up. The waves started moving the ship around, so you could start feeling it. So it was kind of getting a bit uncomfortable. But around midnight, we were at the restaurant, and all of a sudden the ship took a violent tilt to one direction, and it kind of stayed there. Plates started flying, chairs started falling over. So I got nervous. At that point, that was the first time I kind of said, this is not a good situation. So I shot up and I said, I'm going to go to the kids. So I ran over back to the cabin. My son was sound asleep. My daughter came out and said, wow, what's going on? I said, it's okay. I didn't want them to panic. I didn't know what was going on, but I said, everything is going to be fine. I can see the ocean just extremely violent with the waves going up and down. So that was kind of the panic moment.
The Norwegian breakaway cruise liner had been hammered by the fast-moving bomb cyclone. Sarah and Brian Corey and their kids were trying to sleep while the wild ocean flung them around.
Brian woke me up and said, "There's something very wrong. Our neighbor's balcony door has been blown out to sea with their belongings, and our door won't fully close."
When you get on a cruise ship, you just assume that it's going to be fine. And then as the night went on, like one thing after the next started happening. So a couple hours later, they then closed off all the outside decks.
I went to the lobby to just meet the girls, and Brian, of course, stayed with our son in the room. He actually was able to pull up Doppler radar. So he sent me a text, said, I just want you to know, I think I see what's happening. We're sailing directly into this huge storm.
By now, the cruise liner was being battered by winds reaching hurricane force and 30-foot waves. It all proved too unnerving for Aishan.
About 3 a.m., I said, let me just walk out the cabin and just take a look. And I was walking through the hallways, and there's water running down the walls. And I'm like, what is this? And then we saw people, the staff, they were literally mopping the water from the carpets because there were sliding doors onto the deck itself, but the winds were so powerful they were shifting the doors open, and the water was just coming through. It was just all over the place. Even in the main atrium, where really water should not be getting through, and the winds are just howling. The captain came online, giving just a repeated message saying we are adjusting the speed of our ship to minimize the movement, and he must have said that multiple times. And I kept telling everybody, it's not working. I know he's trying, it's not working. There was no controlling that ship. That was the moment that I'm like, this is not a good situation. It was terrifying. Logically, we couldn't have survived if something went wrong.
The situation was just as bad on land. Worst affected was the top of Mount Washington, the highest peak in northeastern United States. Known as the home to the world's worst weather, few would willingly endure a bomb cyclone up there. But for Caleb Mute, it was his job.
Our mission is to advance the understanding of the Earth's natural systems that make up weather and climate. We do so by maintaining a mountaintop weather station here on the summit of Mount Washington. So Mount Washington is an extreme place for sure. The coldest temperature that we've ever recorded on the summit was 47 degrees below zero. We have the highest wind speed ever observed by man, which is 231 miles per hour. We also get a lot of snowfall. We average 281 inches of snow per year. So we also get very, very dangerously cold wind chill. So we love the extreme of the extreme, and this is the place to be for that. We're all kind of always looking at the weather models. So we actually knew pretty well in advance that this big system was coming. So bomb cyclone it's actually a low pressure system that essentially strengthens extremely rapidly. So we measure it with millibars, the center of low pressure. To qualify for a bomb cyclone, it needs to drop 1 millibar per hour for a 24-hour period. On this particular one, it actually dropped 59 millibars in that 24-hour period. We had very strong winds, 122 mile per hour winds. We also had a good bit of snowfall with that. It stayed windy for the next 4 days. We were gusting over 110 miles per hour for 4 straight days, and the temperatures got incredibly cold behind that. It dropped down to 38 degrees below zero. That's Fahrenheit. I can honestly say that behind that bomb cyclone, it was one of the more tiring stretches up here for that many straight days.
4 days being blasted by the bomb can be extremely wearing. So to liven things up, Caleb put Mother Nature to the test.
I had a t-shirt that was lying around, and we decided that we should douse it in water, and we wondered what would happen, how fast it would freeze if we took it outside. So that's what we did. Sure enough, the t-shirt froze very fast. It was kind of entertaining. Conditions were very cold. I know we were dropping to the 30s below zero. And then the winds were awfully gusty also, gusting well beyond 75 miles per hour, which is Category 1 hurricane strength. And, you can start to experience the effects of frostbite in just seconds. And then after a minute or two, you could have permanent damage on your skin. We're kind of always trying to come up with new ideas up here. So the following morning, the temperature started dropping to around 38 degrees below zero. So we decided to do another experiment, and one of the ones we like to do is freeze bubbles. The second you blow a bubble, that moisture is going to freeze right before your eyes. It's cool because they kind of fall onto the ground and then they tumble around like a tumbleweed. They're just kind of a cool visual depiction on how cold it really was getting. Boiling water experiment is one of my favorites. What we do is we'll go outside and release boiling water into the winds when the temperatures are below zero. And the hotter the water is, the further spread apart those molecules are. And then once you expose it to those frigid temperatures, immediately it turns into a cloud of ice crystals right before your eyes. It's a pretty neat experiment to do.
At least Caleb was able to revel in the horrendous conditions. Later, as the bomb Cyclone cranks up a gear, the Norwegian breakaway gets the mother of all poundings as it sails into the eye of the storm.
My daughter looked at me and said, "Mommy, are we gonna die?"
And treacherous US roads lead to multi-vehicle pileups, with an aging Michigan couple caught in the middle of a frightening game of dodge 'em cars.
Here goes another one, a big truck. Oh, Christ. That's the third time we've been hit.
It was like you're holding your breath the whole time, waiting for another hit, another hit.
There comes another one.
When the mercury plummets and the big freeze sets in, it can get so cold that it shocks and delights. In the depths of winter, some parts of Russia have recorded the lowest temperatures outside of Antarctica. East of Moscow, this guy is obviously desperate to prove his manliness. Not only venturing into freezing water, but pumping weights to boot. But sadly, he's completely upstaged by the granny behind, happily paddling like she's in a hot bath. Staying in Russia, it's so cold in the Penza region, this moose is taking refuge on the busy road, using car's exhaust to try and warm its bones. Although sucking in those fumes is definitely doing more harm than good. In southern Russia, it doesn't seem to get any warmer. If you have a dirty windshield, you're stuffed. As this happens when you squirt the windscreen washer. Dry ice, good for 80s pop videos, not great as a window cleaner. Over in the USA, in New York, it can get equally cold, as this parched guy discovers to his obvious amazement.
You're cold as ice. You're cold as ice, Mark, normally.
Wow. An instant slushy, followed by brain freeze, courtesy of Mother Nature.
Amazing.
Finally, at Lake Superior, when it goes sub-zero, surfing is only for the truly hardcore. This is one time you really don't want to fall off. Or else, the Iceman cometh.
How are the conditions today?
Oh, they're really good.
Deep in the Scottish Highlands sits Britain's highest and arguably most spectacular mountain, Ben Nevis, soaring at 4,412 feet above sea level. Straddling the north face is Tower Ridge, a vertigo-inducing 2,000-foot climb. Taking up this formidable challenge on the 15th of February 2018 was Claire Maxted and her climbing buddy, Paul Gale.
I thought that in terms of winter mountaineering, I was quite experienced. I wasn't with a guide or anything, it was just a friend. He was leading the climb.
Where are we now?
This is coming up to the base of the Great Tower and the Eastern Traverse leading round to Tower Gap.
I didn't have any worries. I just thought, that looks epic. Yeah, I can do that. That's no problem. We set off at 5:30 in the morning, got there early. First bits was just hacking up snow, and that was really, really straightforward.
How are we doing?
Good. When the climb got really exposed, that's when I started to get the heebie-jeebies, basically.
Eek. It's really scary, like really scary.
I would not want to be up here without you, and that is a scientific fact.
Eek. I just got slower and slower as it got higher and higher. There wasn't much snow or ice on the climb. It was fine when it was snowy ridges, but on the rocky parts, there wasn't a lot of ice or snow to really whack your ice axe into.
Eek.
So I was getting really concerned that I couldn't get a good grip on the rock.
It's tricky. I know you've got me, but I don't want to fall. I definitely don't want to fall. This is scary. Don't pull the rope, because I'm gonna fall sideways.
With Ben Nevis February temperatures well below freezing, prolonged exposure on this windswept ridge meant hypothermia was a real risk.
I was starting to shake. I was starting to really feel every breath of wind. It just went straight through you.
I'm quite scared.
Are you?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I might fall off.
I was finding moves tricky.
Oh my God.
The fear slowly mounted.
I think I am in a bit above my level, if I'm being totally honest with you.
Just trying desperately to get my ice axe into the snow, and I was really petrified.
Just stay there.
Okay. I'm a bit cold.
Worst case scenario would be staying the night up there, just precariously balanced with our ice axes into the snow. We would have got really cold, possibly hypothermic. Not only does that affect your core temperature, but it also affects your navigation skills, and it just makes everything slower.
If you're not great and you're not feeling warm or anything like that, then we need to sort of think of a plan B.
My climbing partner made the decision to call mountain rescue. He could see that I was really panicking and I was really floundering at that point.
Just the longer it takes, the more time you have to look round. And I just feel scared.
I felt like an idiot, but you have to swallow your pride. People make mistakes, and I've made a big mistake. I shouldn't have been there.
With the light fading and temperature dropping, the HM Coast Guard was scrambled to get Claire and Paul off the mountain before dark.
You could see the helicopter and it sort of hovered for this agonising, it must have been 2 minutes, but it seemed like an hour. And then all of a sudden he's just below you, balanced on the mountainside like that, ever so calm, so calm. If I wasn't getting married this August, I would have married that guy. But the first time I felt properly safe was in the helicopter.
With several people dying annually on Ben Nevis, Claire was reassured by her rescuers. It's always better to be safe than sorry.
They all said that it was the right decision, so that made me feel a lot better. The weather is just so changeable in the UK, but you've just got to respect it. Feeling so out of control of the situation, I just think I never want to put myself through that again. You could die. People die doing that. I thought I was really experienced in the outdoors, but I reached my limits that day. Didn't like it.
Snow. It's Mother Nature's gift to us for having fun and frolics. But when there's loads and loads of the white stuff, she can have the last laugh. In frozen upstate New York, shivering commuters think they're safe enough in the shelter of their platform. But this non-stop train is effectively a snowplow. Not the time to be distracted by your phone. Brings a whole new meaning to an annoying cold call. In Chicago, with snow on the freeway, drivers are paying close attention to the treacherous conditions under wheel. But snow is a slippery customer and is able to ambush unsuspecting motorists like this one. Who takes a payload of the white stuff head on. One of the first rules of heading out into a snowstorm is cover up well. This guy in Rhode Island hasn't got the memo. But there's always some know-it-all to point out the obvious.
Hey, it's snowing out. You need help?
Yeah.
It's snowing out.
Yeah, I know, guys. Why is your vertical down?
I've heard of Puss in Boots, but Bulldog in Boots is barking mad. Even with all his winter attire, this pooch hits pause when confronted by the deep stuff. No matter how much coaxing, walkies is resolutely off the agenda. While some find snow a bit tiresome, others embrace the sheer thrill of it. This guy in Jackson, Wyoming is hooked on the deep powder. While it looks exhilarating, and he's clearly on a high, his frozen rictus is more likely from facefuls of freezing snow. Still to come, a desperate rescue to find a friend buried alive and suffocating to death.
You just have to concentrate on breathing. After a few minutes, you just fall asleep.
And a daredevil risks soul to be the first to ski base jump in Britain.
Cliff strikes that are the worst outcome of a base jump like this.
Dropping.
Earlier, we saw the devastating effect as a gigantic bomb cyclone detonated across the entire eastern U.S. coastline.
That is amazing. Welcome! Happy New Year!
Look at that.
Turning life on land and sea into a grim battle for survival.
Winds are just howling. There's water running down the walls. And I'm like, what is this?
In Muskegon, Michigan, USA, Jim and Sue Perro reckoned they were hardened to wintry weather. But on the 29th of December 2017, the bomb cyclone took them by surprise.
Well, when we got up that morning, we looked outside and saw how much snow there really was. It was stacked up. It was pretty extreme.
We were going out to a home store for some new supplies, and it was about 15 miles from our house, and we thought, well, if we take it slow, it'll be fine.
We did think twice about going out that day. Probably should have thought a third time too.
Jim should have followed his hunch. The bomb cyclone's extreme cold and snow had made driving treacherous. Across the country, there were a series of massive pileups, some containing up to 75 vehicles.
We got on the highway. At that point is when we had a total whiteout.
And then all of a sudden I just hear him say, honey, hold on, we're going into the bank.
Look at them coming in. Cars coming in. Boom, whoa. Just keep, oh, there's a big truck piling here. Whoa, whoa, right in front of us, down in the ditch. Whoa, whoa, here's another one whoa, another one going in.
Okay, and I'm shaking and I'm just trying to get the phone and I called 911 right away.
You better get somebody out here on South 31, man. They are crashing like no tomorrow.
There's 50 cars smashed out here right now.
Here comes another one at us, honey.
There comes another one. Now there was a car up against my bumper and somebody just took out that car.
There's another one.
There's another one.
And we got hit from behind while I was still talking to 911.
Oh my God!
Oh my God.
Oh,
Okay.
somebody's gonna get, oh my God.
Okay, thank you.
They gotta shut this highway down.
The people that were coming across my front bumper, I couldn't believe it. They had to be going like 60 miles an hour.
Here goes another one, big truck.
Oh, Christ. That's the third time we've been hit. Oh, they're right on your door now.
Yeah.
Had any of those hit us in the side, it could have been real bad.
And I'm just sitting thinking, when is this gonna stop?
This guy's right on our door. He's right out here.
It was like you're holding your breath the whole time, waiting for another hit, another hit. And then when you start seeing the emergency crew people walking around, then we knew that the cars had stopped coming. And it's just like, whew, then you could let out a breath and just kind of sit back a minute.
I thought I was really good and I knew all about these winter things. Not true. It can happen to anyone, anytime, and I've gained a whole new respect for Mother Nature and weather as a whole.
Out on the Atlantic, the Norwegian breakaway was plowing through hurricane winds and mountainous seas, trying to reach New York. As it entered the eye of the storm, Sarah and Brian Corey were fretting over their kids' well-being.
I had one daughter who was very seasick, one who was okay, one who truly was terrified. My daughter looked at me and said, "Mommy, are we gonna die?" There were many moments that I didn't think that we were gonna make it through the storm. I contemplated the death of my entire family in the Atlantic Ocean.
Stuff is flying off the shelves, glass is breaking, and I was worried it was going to be one big wave that just took the ship out. I had never heard whistling wind like that in my life.
The wind's coming in.
And just being on a boat that size that was rocking all over the place, it was something else.
The most terrifying part was thinking that if this boat couldn't withstand this storm and these waves, there's no way a lifeboat is going to help us. The waves were near 50 feet and the winds were 70 miles an hour.
You didn't have any choice but to sit there and wait it out.
The bomb cyclone lasted 4 days, bringing total chaos to eastern United States. 22 people lost their lives, and 300,000 were left without power.
Good Lord.
The deep freeze even spread as far south as Florida, that saw its first snow in 29 years.
A rare phenomenon in Tallahassee, Florida.
Decimating wildlife used to tropical weather.
And this poor little guy is frozen. Apparently he's not dead, so I'm gonna put him in the sun.
Mercifully, all 4,000 passengers on the New York-bound Norwegian breakaway made it through unscathed. Ending a truly harrowing voyage none of them will forget in a hurry.
It wasn't until we literally saw the harbor in New York that it's like, okay, we're gonna be okay.
Right. And then you just wanted to get off that boat as fast as you could.
And never get on another boat again.
Right.
Les Trois Vallées in the French Alps. Covering almost 400 miles, it's the biggest skiing area in the world.
It's definitely the best place to go in the French Alps.
On February the 7th, 2017, professional skiers Michael Bimbos and Solange Dejouet were with their friend Julie, taking advantage of deep fresh powder, despite the increased risk of avalanches.
We were just having fun during this day, not thinking about avalanche.
We were 3 of us at the top of the ridge, around 2,500 meters, and we wanted to have like Julie at the front, me jumping in the venue, and Solange following us with the camera to film all the action. We realized something was wrong as soon as we saw the crack on the snow, and this is a really bad sign because it means that the snow is sliding.
I was just after him. Both of us tried to reach the left part.
I tried to pull my airbag, but it's not easy. After a few seconds, I reached the trigger of the avalanche system, and it did inflate, but it was not enough because another wave of snow came and just buried me. It's really noisy. It's like being on a wave in the ocean. As soon as it stops, it's really quiet. I've been trying to move my arms, my head, my legs, and it's just fully trapped. It's impossible. You try once, and then you say, all right, I can't. And then you try again, because you don't want to believe in that. You just have to concentrate on breathing. After a few minutes, you just fall asleep.
With survival rates plummeting after 15 minutes buried, Solange and Julie knew every second wasted could cost their friend his life.
When the avalanche stopped, I couldn't see Michael, just on Julie.
Il est où? Il est où, Mika? Non, je l'ai pas vu, j'ai vu que toi.
It was difficult to see all the avalanche because it's a big area.
All 3 skiers were carrying an avalanche transceiver. The device transmits a signal that can be picked up by other transceivers within a 200-foot radius.
I have to turn around and find the good signal.
Huh?
When I was near Michael with my transceiver, I began to dig.
Things goes really slowly and it appears like an eternity. I stayed 6 minutes under, but I felt like it was 15. I remember thinking, I don't want to die here.
So I find his shoulder pretty fast, and I can find his head just after that.
Respire, respire, respire. On est là, Mika. Allez.
Yeah, I was quite happy to breathe again.
On est là, mon pote. Ouais. Là.
He saved my life.
Despite being expert skiers, this was the first time that Michael and Solange had a near-death experience on the mountain. They would never ignore an off-piste avalanche warning again.
Merde,
I was stressed a little bit the days after.
When it's that deep and there's a fresh snowfall, not going 3 in at the same time is the best lesson we can learn. Come on, this is the best place around. We just continue to go and we pay attention.
Snow avalanches are Mother Nature's deadly ambushes, attacking with little warning and startling speed. Each year they're responsible for 150 deaths. 90% of avalanches are triggered by people, usually by their vibrations disturbing the snowpack, like this skier in La Plagne, France. As he bounces down the slope, his selfie stick captures the top plate of snow cracking apart, starting the death slide. With the human body being 3 times denser than avalanche debris, it's best to swim to stay on the surface. As this guy does, which may have saved his life. Of course, the other way to escape this thundering wall of doom is to try and outrun it. But with avalanches recorded at speeds of over 100 miles per hour, that's a tall order. It helps, though, if you're a professional freeride snowboarder, like this guy in the Pyrenees. But even the pro only squeaks through by the skin of his teeth.
Oh, impresionante esta weá.
If you're hiking and a giant avalanche hurtles towards you, there's no chance of running to safety.
No creo que llegue. Oh.
These two guys in Patagonia, Chile, are mesmerized by the awesome force of nature, not grasping it's heading straight for them.
¿Tú crees que llegue? Oh.
With avalanche snow weighing up to 3/4 of a ton per cubic yard, it can snap fully grown trees like twigs. So just as well it pulls up short of these two less sturdy beings. One way to keep us humans out of harm's way is to clear any dangerous snow caps with a controlled explosion. Although this one doesn't look so controlled. Only shelter from this telecabine save these ski patrollers from being wiped out. Sacre bleu. When the winter snows fall, Tim Howell's eyes light up. The former British Royal Marine is part of a small band of ultra-daring stuntmen who get their kicks from ski base jumping off scary-looking cliffs.
Not many people that ski base worldwide. I'm the only person who does it in the UK.
Yeah!
The idea or the stunt was first ever conceived for the James Bond movie, The Spy Who Loved Me. It was kind of before the time that base jumping was even a sport. It didn't even have the name base jumping.
While this extreme time has taken Tim around the world, for 2 years he's hankered after one jump. Off the 2,000-foot Glencoe precipice in the Scottish Highlands.
Done a handful of ski base jumps in Italy, Switzerland, France. But to be able to do something in the UK, it was something that I've aimed to do for a while. I lived and worked in Glencoe for a few years. I've spent a lot of time up there, winter mountaineering, winter climbing, but the weather in Scotland is always against you. It's always windy, not enough snow. And on top of that, when you do have snow, it's not at the right level.
Because of the exceptional dangers, ski-based jumping requires meticulous planning and a perfect set of weather conditions. On the 8th of January 2018, a rear window opened and it was Go Glencoe.
I've been looking at it for a few years, drove up and yeah, fingers crossed that it worked out. Got to the bottom, we could see a little bit of snow up top. The landing was all grass and I was really doubting whether we'd be able to get it done. The snow level had to be at the exact height of the cliff. If it was any higher, then it wouldn't have been possible because we would have had to spend a lot of time bringing that snow down. For something like this, where I wanted it to build a nice, solid, compact run in, it was the perfect consistency. It's really good, it sticks together. One of the main things that I needed was correct wind conditions. We're looking for minimal wind, 0 miles per hour is perfect. But then on top of that, we need it in the right direction. If the wind picks up a little bit of speed, then you start doubting yourself whether it's possible, whether it's worth doing.
As there was only just enough snow, it took Tim 2 hours to fashion a 30-foot ski ramp. The thin, measly strip, though, gave him no margin for error.
So the jump was probably about 5 meters away from the edge, which meant that I needed speed to then clear that 5-meter gap. I'm always anxious when it comes to pulling off a big challenge that I've been waiting for years to get done. But there's so many variables that can go wrong. From the access slopes, avalanche prone, to the wind, to the snow level. The main thing I didn't want was a 180 facing a cliff. Cliff strikes that are the worst outcome of a base jump like this. Certain jumps I've really got to calm myself down, do some breathing techniques and focus, and then perform what I've set out to do.
Dropping.
I've got enough distance away from the cliff.
Oh! Yes! Yes! Woo-hoo!
When your canopy opens, that's when you can kind of relax a little bit. Probably the most dangerous part of the jump's over. That's the time to celebrate.
Oh my God! 2 years! 2 years! Woo-hoo!
Every jump, that's a challenge for me. Yeah, it's always a big, loud whoop whoop.
Woo-hoo!
So I knew I'd fly quite far away from the cliff before I landed. So from there, it was kind of just picking a spot. It's quite weird to land on grass with skis because you take some of the shock from your knees by skiing out of the landing.
With that successful touchdown, Tim became the very first person to perform a ski-based jump in the UK. Congratulations.
I was really happy with the outcome. To celebrate, we went to a local pub up the road, Angus burger and a cider, and then drove back home.
There are some adrenaline junkies out there who feel compelled to push the envelope and their luck, taking on Mother Nature. So, on World's Deadliest Weather, we bring you the ultimate, don't do this at home. When snowflakes gently cascade, it seems to play havoc with some people's sanity. And in Squaw Valley, US, this skier decides to not only jump off a massive cliff, but do it with a backflip. A millimeter out, and it'll more likely be back-breaking. Not to be outdone, this guy ups the ante with a couple of backflips, showing his balls of steel by putting them on display. What a plum. In Sweden, this guy proves you don't need scary jumps to have heart-stopping moments as he ventures off-piste into the woods. As potential limb breakers whir by, this Swede must have ice in his veins with this nerveless navigation. Not content though, out of the woods he throws in his party piece, a somersault. He may be a Swede, but he's behaving like a proper turnip. Moving from the white stuff to white water. This German kayaker is about to launch himself on a white-knuckle ride down ferocious rapids in Norway. If that wasn't butt-clenchingly scary enough, while the raging torrent knocks 7 bells out of him, he has to precisely thread the eye of a needle, a tiny storm drain. He gets a high five for his troubles, but it was very nearly bye-bye. In 2017, as Europe swelters under heatwave Lucifer, this French guy's devil-may-care attitude was sparked as he takes advantage of melted glaciers to, yes, bike down Mont Blanc. Europe's highest mountain, nudging 16,000 feet. Here are just some of the things that could have carted him off on the blood wagon. Razor-sharp ice, crevasses, precipitous drops, loose scree, giant rocks, and careless hikers, not expecting a two-wheeled maniac hurtling down at breakneck speeds. Formidable. In this episode, we've seen Mother Nature show her awesome power.
Oh, another one going in.
We've seen how helpless we can be.
I just feel scared.
We've seen her tear down, destroy, and laugh in our faces. And next time there will be more, because deadly weather stops for no one.